As I held my father's trembling hand in the hospital, I realized I was the one who broke his heart first. I used to think my father was the strongest man alive, until the day he stopped speaking. When I was a kid, my dad worked 2 jobs in New York City. Construction during the day, gas station at night. I barely saw him. When I did, he was always tired. Dust on his boots, grease on his hands. But every Sunday morning, no matter what, he made pancakes, burnt on the edges, too much syrup. But they tasted like love. As I grew older, I started feeling embarrassed. My friends had dads who wore suits. Mine wore faded jeans and steel-toe boots. One day in high school, he came to pick me up in his old, noisy truck. My friends laughed. "Bro, is that your dad's car?" I felt something I hate admitting, shame. So I told him, "Dad, you don't have to pick me up anymore. I'll take the bus." He didn't argue. He just nodded. That was the first Sunday he didn't make pancakes. Years passed. I moved to Los Angeles for college. I got a good job, nice apartment, new car. I sent money home sometimes, but I rarely called. I was busy building my future. One evening, I got a call from my neighbor back home. "It's your dad," she said softly. "He collapsed at work." I flew back immediately. When I entered the hospital room, I barely recognized him. He looked smaller, weaker. Machines were breathing louder than he was. The doctor pulled me aside. Years of overworking, severe heart damage. He ignored the warning signs. I stood there, frozen, overworking. For who? For me. When I sat beside him, he slowly opened his eyes. For the first time in my life, my father looked afraid. He tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come out clearly. So he squeezed my hand instead. Tears rolled down his face. I had never seen my father cry, not when he broke his arm, not when Mum passed away, not even when he lost his second job. But now he cried, and I finally understood. He wasn't crying because he was dying. He was crying because he was scared of leaving me alone. That night, I stayed in the hospital chair. At 3 a.m., I remembered something: pancakes. The next morning, I went home and made them myself. Burnt edges, too much syrup, just like his. When I brought them into his hospital room, he looked confused. I smiled and said, "Sunday tradition, remember?" He couldn't speak, but he smiled. A small, tired smile. And for the first time in years, I wasn't ashamed. I was proud. My father didn't wear suits. He didn't drive fancy cars. He didn't know how to express love with big words. He showed love with overtime shifts, with silent sacrifices, with burnt pancakes. He passed away 2 weeks later. At his funeral, many men from construction showed up. One of them said, "Your dad used to skip lunch so he could save more money for your college fund." I couldn't breathe. All those years, I thought he was just working, but he was building something. He was building me. Today, I still make pancakes every Sunday. Not because I like them, but because love doesn't always speak. Sometimes it works late. Sometimes it drives an old truck. Sometimes it stays silent. And sometimes it looks like a tired man who never stopped trying. Like and subscribe, comment, part 2.